Meme coin copycats. This market is losing its mind. Let's hit it. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Alpha Show. I'm your host, Joe Visani. My day job, CEO and co-founder of Lunar Crush. That's where I find all these gems each day that I get to bring to you. That's where I get my picks from. Also, make sure you like and subscribe if you love this show. We're going to be on every night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. All right, we do have a fun show for you tonight. I want to get right into it. Oh, little secret there. Don't see what that was. All right, first Bitcoin. Everyone was calling the earth was falling, the sky was falling, Bitcoin's going down. Looks like we've had a reversal already back up to 67.5. This is a bull market. It's going to continue to move and move and move. I was talking about today on a lot of the Twitter spaces out there. We didn't wait 945 days of a bear market to have a 75-day bull market, but we are seeing some fever pitches that are going on right now in the market. That's okay. Tonight's show, it's going to be a little ridiculous, because the market is so hot, and I think that the meme community is pushing so many coins out there. And I say ridiculous with the most compassion possible. I guess what I really mean is creativity. And so I was on Lunar Crush today, looking through all the top alt ranks as I normally do. Stacks we talked about yesterday. Solana's back moving up. Floki, we had a great Twitter space with them the other day. And then I see BRATT. And I've not seen BRATT before. And so I'm kind of wondering what is BRATT? And so I start to go down the rabbit hole a little bit. And we'll start with with Big BRATT, because it seems to be a family affair here. The fever pitch, I just want to say, feels like the entire market's kind of like sprinting towards the center of the internet, like the most memorific thing that's possible. Like that's what it seems like we're after right now. So let's start with Big BRATT. What is BRATT? BRATT is on base. And so you can see some of the decent liquidity and decent volume that we've got on BRATT. BRATT was launched, a whole week and a day ago, so 9 days ago, and BRATT's on base, and BRATT is Pepe's best friend on base. So as I was going through this, looking through BRATT, let's look at who's BRATT. BRATT's character in particular has resonated with fans all across the globe who appreciate his laid-back attitude and love for video games. This seems to also be the narrative here, which is the meme coins comparing market cap as to why they should be going up in price is because other things are there. So it's possible to get back there, which in a way, I kind of buy. It's like, if it exists and it's there, why can't other things exist that also go there? It's just, they all think that it's themselves. Also, just a little side note. It seems like a couple years ago, everyone was calling everything projects. Like that word came on to the scene. It was like, oh, all of these different projects. And I think that was a good word to kind of describe people figuring stuff out. That's a startup that's decentralized. Now it's all just narratives. Everyone's like, what is the narrative that makes sense? And so as you're listening to a lot of these meme coin communities talk, that's what they're actually after. They're after these different narratives that they're pushing out there. So this is BRATT, looking at some of the social, we added a couple of days ago, we added BRATT to Lunar Crush, and, immediately alt rank up here above 1,000. And in the last couple of days, you can start to see the alt rank really push down towards the bottom here. Number one is the best, as we always say. And then BRATT started to move up pretty significantly here. So keeping an eye on this pretty closely. This already has a $350 million market cap. These things are coming out of the gate so hot. 930 creators, 2,000 posts, 2 million interactions. Those are good numbers to keep in mind as I go through the rest of the BRATTs here in a second, to understand kind of the size of what's going on here. Sentiment, it's tough in these early days to really understand positive or negative. Really when you come back to this after a couple of weeks, then it starts to kind of shake out what's going on. So looking at BRATT, BRATT, 18,000 followers on Twitter. Going through this process, I noticed there was actually another BRATT, and it was BRATT on Solana. And BRATT on Solana actually has been around for about a month. And so I'm not sure if these two were the same things. They're definitely different tokens and they're traded differently. This is BRATT on Solana, which is a different thing. But I don't know if it's the community from Solana that was like, oh, we're going to go launch this thing on Base. And it's kind of like I've been saying over the last couple of days, people are choosing the L1 of choice, and then it's like, bam, the meme coins are coming out. So as things start to move, it's interesting on Base. There's no token, so it's a little bit different, but it seems to be the hot thing right now is to launch your meme coin on Base from Coinbase. So again, this was a different token. This was also mascot of Solana. This was a different BRATT, but also kind of went through this, started to do research. They do mention here that it has no association with Matt Fury, who was the comic artist. He came up with Pepe the Frog. Everything seems to be some sort of derivative of Pepe the Frog. So just wanted to point that out as you're out there looking through this, doing your research, that these are two different things: BRATT on Base and based BRATT and BRATT on Solana. So as I'm going down and doing my research and I'm looking for BRATT, I'm finding this. Lots of BRATTs. Lots of things happening with BRATT. So I'm like, okay, tonight I have to dive into what's going on with BRATT. And so started with BRATT. Then this is son of BRATT, which the ticker is actually BRATT, BRATT. And looking out here, again, this was launched a couple days after BRATT, only 3 days after BRATT. So this is new. Also launched on Base. Still looks like even CoinGecko is pulling some of this information through. So you guys be extremely careful with these. These are super low market cap, like, super low trading volume. So you got to be very careful with what's going on here. Just the one Uniswap on Base liquidity pool, 324,000 volume, 2,000 on both sides, which probably means there's only a couple $100,000, if not actually less, probably $100,000 in liquidity in there. So that's BRATT, right? And so BRATT's son on Base. So BRATT's totally illegitimate kid has landed on the Base network with all credentials that are just too legit to ignore. I did not want to feed his vices or visit his crib, so you guys can click on those on your own. Here's where you get at the narrative, right? They're literally coming out with the word "the narrative," right? And that's what they're going for. So I am not going to read this on air here. This is not for kids. Not that many kids are watching this, but you guys can go in here and read this narrative about BRATT's son and BRATT the coin and what's going on. Then you've got the BRATTonomics, which I thought was BRATT tokenomics, just BRATTonomics. Tough to say. 10 million supply, funds are safe, and then obviously how to buy. So you can see all these sites are kind of looking pretty similar with what's going on. Added this as well, looking at some of these interactions. I mean, this data is it's so new. Again, like only pulling through like 30 creators, 60 posts, 17,000 interactions. So like we are talking like the earliest of the early with these things and what's out there. So this stuff will start to populate as time goes on, and some of these social metrics will start to come through. But looking at some of these posts, obviously things are growing really rapidly for the number of people that are going to start talking about this. So BRATT, son of BRATT, only has 495 followers. So we are talking very early for these guys, but it's just interesting to see. I've got no idea why. It's a BRATT-a-thon that's going on. Next one in line, Baby BRATT. So Baby BRATT again here, launched a couple days ago. I don't know who like this. If this is the same person just cranking all these things, is just ridiculous. But again, super small. Be very, very careful with everything. Like even under $40,000 in volume on this stuff. So it's like I'm not recommending trading any of this. Obviously, this is not financial advice. I'm just trying to showcase that something's going on with BRATT and that there's a bunch of them to choose from. So looking at Baby BRATT, there's not much here. They've got the base scan, they've got their Telegram, they've got their X account, Dex Tools, Dex Screener, CoinGecko, and then this is it, right? So I don't know if there's anything to this picture here, right? We've got all the different symbols going on here. So it's like maybe these are going to be the next tokens that these guys are launching on these chains. So maybe look out, if you've got some epic, machine learning, large language model that can take a screenshot of this and can tell when it's posted onto X, and then it can instantly trade into that token somehow based on that, then you're going to kill it, because maybe that's what's happening out there. We literally just added baby BRATT. So boom, it's gonna reload. We've got a little bit of information on here. Creators, super small. It's going to start loading up, but obviously all these things are growing very rapidly. This is very new. 16 creators, 1,000 interactions. So we are at the very cusp of the BRATT phenomenon that's happening out there in the world right now. Baby BRATT, again, 491 followers. Maybe these are all the same 495 people that are following all of these different accounts. So that is baby BRATT. My finance 405 teachers watching this having a heart attack right now. BRATT Wif Hat. This one, interesting. BRATT Wif Hat. So obviously we've got dog Wif Hat. Why not have a BRATT Wif Hat? We need a BRATT Wif Hat. So, all these things are up in price. Again, looking at the markets, volume, it's actually picked up a little bit since I started to look at this. So I think the word's out on BRATT probably a little bit, to kind of move this volume up. But again, these are super liquid, super small. Be very careful. Just do your own research, go deep into this, figure out the communities, dive in there, make your decisions. They just added a hat to BRATT. That's what they did. And it's the next biggest community meme coin on Base. So again, ETH has Pepe, Solana has Wif, and Base has Biff. So that's all you need to know. Hey kids, it's Daddy Biff. I see you've done all right with your little meme coins, BRATT, Wif, and Pepe. I gotta say, I'm proud you've made some gains and had your fun. But now it's time to let Big Daddy Biff take the lead. They're coming for you guys. They are coming for you guys. So you can see all very similar with what's going on. Here's BRATT Wif Hat, still pulling through some of this data and looking like the interactions are down. They're from this high here, which is not very high. And some of the posts we can look at. So it's just kind of beginning with all of these different BRATT coins, 100 creators talking about it. So kind of popping through that, looking at, 16, 29, and then obviously BRATT's the big one with almost 1,000 here. So that's what I'm seeing tonight. Something's going on with BRATT, and these things are starting to move, and it's all on Base. So take for it what you will. I appreciate you all being here. Come back tomorrow. We're going to be talking about more. It's going to be a stellar show tomorrow. So do not miss it. Enjoy life with BRATT. Take care.